Welcome to Project Grownup. This is a bi-weekly, or is it a bi-monthly? I'm not sure which one it is.
At this point, I don't know.
This is a podcast that comes out every other week, and it's about conquering the phenomenon known as adulthood through hard work, discussion, and most importantly, a lot of laughs. If you like the show, do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review, like, and subscribe. I'm Alex, here with my co-host Amy.
Hey girl, hey.
And Danielle.
Sup?
So, top of mind, Danielle just came back from vacation and she got terrible food poisoning. But other than
10 out
that,
of
Danielle,
10, do not recommend. Sorry, 100 out of 10, don't recommend ever. Not even on my worst enemy.
so that's a terrible way to spend your PTO. But other than that, did you have a good time up at the lake?
Yes, I did. For the first, for the first 4 days, yes. For the last 2, I actually felt like my insides were trying to kill me. But,
Well, at least you got some.
I guess
some
stuff
good
happens.
days.
Stuff happens to be the clean version.
All right, other top of mind, the Olympics just started. Go USA or anyone
Woo
out
woo.
there.
Woo
For
woo.
our fans in other countries, you're any athlete that makes it to the Olympics, they're amazing, and good luck to all of them.
Oh yeah.
It-
Do you guys have you guys been following anyone from Tampa or the Tampa area who's been in the Olympics?
yeah,
No.
we watched this one girl from Sarasota swim. I think she won silver or gold or went to the qualifying. I don't know. She's on the local news here. We've been watching it, because why not?
I know, right? It's pretty cool. I love watching the swimming, gymnastics. We were watching a little bit of volleyball because, fun fact, his name's Matt Anderson. I guess his mom used to babysit Dave's best friend, and he's like one of the
I'm not going to try
top.
to make that connection in my head.
It's like
I know.
fourth removed.
Yeah, his mom. So he's from Orchard Park, I believe. Here, he's the top men's volleyball player like in the world, or he was several
That's
times.
awesome.
Yeah. So we were watching that game the other day, and the U.S. won that. But I don't know the next game they're playing. So obviously, it's like they got to keep taking on different countries until they win. So go Matt Anderson and USA. Woo.
All right, last top of mind for me is the new season of American Horror Story came out, and I just want to let everyone know that in my opinion it's trash. So
What is it even about?
Oh,
I just saw
God.
the picture that they used to advertise it on Hulu, and I was like, wow, that looks a little creepy.
So they kind of changed it up a little bit. So instead of it just being American Horror Story, where it's one full season of a certain theme, this is American Horror Stories. So I think it's going to be just like a couple like little short stories, kind of like campfire tales, but not nearly as good. I love American Horror Story, but I agree with Alex. So far, it's trash. We just turned off the 3rd episode because we're like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
It's that bad we couldn't finish it. So
Awkward. We gave up on
So-
episode 3, so
So I've seen like 2 seasons. I saw the one about the witches, and then I saw the one about like the
Coven.
clown, the circus. Yeah, they were back to back or whatever. I wasn't really a fan. But I know like they're all supposed to give you clues to like some bigger story or whatever. I don't know what it is, but
I was actually always a fan, like, of all of them. There was only one that I really didn't like, and it was I can't even remember what it was called, but it was like some town or something. I don't remember. It was in like back in the day. But everything else I liked. I liked the one with the house. I liked the asylum one. I liked the coven. I liked the circus one. There were a couple others that were good. The one with Lady Gaga with the hotel, that one was a little iffy, but I still kind of liked it. But this like new idea is just not working out for them. The acting is terrible.
oh
I
really?
shouldn't say that.
Did they change up their cast? Because I know they usually keep like the same people. They just play different roles. Like that one blonde chick, she was really good. She had like the short hair. You know
no,
who I'm
they're
talking
The
all
older
new
one?
people.
You know who I'm talking
Hold
about?
on.
Or-
Yes, I have to look her up because I know Sarah Paulson is the young one. Jessica Lange. Yes,
Yeah,
she's
good.
so good.
Any other top of minds before we jump into the topic for this evening?
Actually,
No.
yes, I need to say something.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So first off, maybe it's the blonde in me, but I keep getting confused with the Olympics. I'm backtracking, but I keep getting confused because the guide says like 2020 Olympics, and I'm like, why are they playing the old Olympics? Like, I need the new ones. But then I realized they just didn't want to change the number. I'm thinking like if they just keep it every 4 years from now, it'll be fine. They're just gonna pretend that this is 2020. But if they changed it to 2021, then it wouldn't be on the same year as the presidential election anymore, and they'd have to put it. It'd mess up the history books. So I think they're like, well, let's just go with it. Anybody?
All right, well, good to note. So it is
That's
technically
hilarious. Absolutely freaking hilarious, Amy, that you did not
It's
know that.
confusing to me.
Well, I mean,
a little
everybody knows that
confusing.
the Olympics were postponed last year because of COVID, though.
Yeah, but now it's 2021, so these are the 2021 Olympics.
Yeah, but technically they were supposed to be for last year. I know, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. I guess they just didn't want to.
Look,
You know, honestly, it was probably that they spent so much money on all the stuff they didn't want to go back and
rebrand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so right, actually.
What they had that branded already. I bet you they didn't want to do it.
Absolutely.
See, I look at it opposite. I think that they do it like the Olympics are the same year as the presidential elections because it's a distraction. So they have to keep it the same year. Just saying, conspiracy over. Alex, what's the episode about?
All right, I'm going to debunk that conspiracy because that is assuming that the entire world revolves around the United States of America, which is not true.
Amy,
I'm sorry, Amy. The blonde's coming out and we'll
Or the narcissism, we don't know.
All right, all right. So for this evening, we are talking about downfalls to avoid. So I saw this self-help post or picture on Pinterest. I don't know if anyone out there uses Pinterest, but it's a pretty nifty app where you can make little like inspiration boards. Like you could make a fashion board on how you want to dress or like how you want to decorate your house or self-help. And this one was titled Eight Cancers to Avoid, but I don't really like the word cancer, so we're going to call it 8 downfalls to avoid. And these are negative traits that will hold you back from thriving and succeeding. And I know we're all guilty of these to various degrees. You know, we're not saints here. So let's talk about each one of these and see if we can determine a positive action to replace it with. So the first one on the 8 downfalls to avoid is complaining. And I know complaining is my middle name. If you give me anything, I will complain about it, whether I like it or not.
At least you admit it. But you know, honestly, complaining is the number one way people actually bond. Like
I see
coworkers,
that.
when they're annoyed, they talk to each other, and guess what? They become closer because they're like, "Ah, oh, can you believe this?" And like, I'm talking about every freaking industry. Like, it's so true.
No, I feel like that's definitely true, and I have definitely made some friends through similarity and complaining. I feel like it's a way to vent.
It is.
Especially at the DMV. Like, you can make best friends at the DMV and just being like, oh, when are they going to call my number? What do you got? And then you just complain about it, and you both are just like, oh my gosh, the DMV, am I right?
I feel like obviously though it can be a little bit much, and you can kind of, you know, it is a downfall. It is a negative, and you know, it's something that we can definitely replace with a positive. So, how what kind of actions do you think we can replace with that complaining?
So, one of the ways that I kind of, I don't want to say like fixed my, well, yeah, I kind of fixed my thought process. So every time I'm like starting to complain and it's been more than a couple of minutes and I'm like, wow, I'm just wasting all my time on this negative energy. I just remind myself that it's a first world problem. And I just try to like giggle and be like, oh, first world problems. Because it sounds dumb, but if you think about it, like most of the things I'm complaining about really are first world problems. And so many people have it so much worse. So it's just like, oh, just let it go. You're fine.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in like the negativity and then it starts snowballing when like at the end of the day, if you just like take a step back and just be like, wow, I'm really grateful for what I have, or I'm at least content with it.
Yeah. And I feel like appreciating stuff definitely helps you to realize, you know, you need to put things into perspective more.
So this next downfall is gossiping, which I know we are all guilty of. No one can say they're not, you know.
XOXO, Gossip Girl.
Oh, love Gossip Girl. Let me not go on a tangent. But anyways, Danielle was just talking about how people bond over complaining and negativity. So gossiping around the water cooler, you know what's happening. I'm trying to think, how do you get rid of gossiping? How do you make gossiping a positive? Celebrating other people's successes, just hyping up all the people around you.
Yeah, I think replacing, maybe what you might say that might come out negative or sharing other people's stories, I guess we'll call them. You can maybe replace it with kind words. But also you have to think it could still even be considered gossiping, even if you're sharing like good news about other people's, it's their news to share. I don't know. What do you think of that? Is that still gossiping, even if it's positive?
That's a really good point. I mean, I guess
I
gossiping, if you're really going to answer what exactly it means, I mean, sharing information about somebody specifically, at least the way I would look at it. But I
So
think
Danielle, is your whole job gossiping?
facts.
no,
I'm
because
teasing.
that's actually news. Like, that's information. Whereas, like,
Real
we're
news.
not, you know what? Gossiping is information with an opinion. Like,
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
I don't want to say
Is it
entertainment.
though, actually?
Like,
Should we look up the
like those
definition?
Yeah,
magazines,
what's the definition
like
of
those
gossiping?
magazines and the paparazzi, where they try to guess what's going on with someone's life, but they don't actually have like confirm the information. They just guess, and it's like you can't print that when you don't even know
You need some evidence.
All
exactly.
right. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, according to the dictionary, gossiping is a person who repeats stories about other people or talk or rumors involving personal lives of other people.
So it could be good or bad gossip, but either way, gossiping is gossiping. To keep your mind off my business and my business out your mouth.
So I think the positive here is
Good
just
at
focus
shaming.
on yourself, talk about yourself and not others, maybe. Say nice things.
I agree.
Or,
If it has nothing to do with you, leave it alone.
ask other people, how you doing? How you really doing?
All right, what else, Alex? What else we got?
Okay, we got envying as the third fatal downfall. Do you guys fall into this trap?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But you guys want to hear something funny? Because and the reason I bring this up is because when a lot of us envy people who have like every time I watch the Kardashians, I envy what they have because I'm like, dang, that's a nice looking kitchen. I wish that was my kitchen.
Mhm.
However, today I saw that somebody from work had Googled themselves, and so I was inspired to do so. And I looked up on one of those websites. It says my net worth is $1 million to $5 million.
Ooh, girl, you about to sponsor the podcast?
I was like,
I'm
no,
so envying you.
I was like, no, it's not. Now that's some straight up gossip if I ever heard some. And also, I don't know where they're finding this money. If they would like to point it out for me, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Wow, I didn't know you were so rich. Now I am very envious of you.
If I was so rich, I wouldn't have no student loans.
That's funny because it plays into something later. But anyway, I do struggle with envy, I reckon, because I do see people that have a lot of money and their lives do seem a lot easier. But I just tell myself like a couple of different things, but mostly like the things that I've learned from working my whole life. Like I wouldn't be nearly as capable or independent as I am now if I hadn't put in the work on my own. And not all of those people have that. So it's okay. Even though they have something, I have something different. That's fine.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Definitely appreciate, what you currently have.
Yeah,
Like,
because
that new purse looks nice. That kitchen looks nice. You can work to get there though, which brings me to my next point of the next downfall, which is comparing. Do you compare yourself to other people, or do you compare yourself to what you should be or what you were? How do you do that, and how is that going to lead to a downfall in your success long term?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everybody does. Because, I mean, especially when it comes to yourself, like, of course, I compare myself to pictures of me in the past, but I have to realize I'm not 15 anymore and my metabolism isn't as fast as that. You get older, and someday I'm going to be 40 years old and I'm going to be like, I can't believe I was complaining at 25. Like, I look fine, you know?
You look
It's one of
great,
those
girl.
things, like, you just have to appreciate the moment because you're not going to have it forever. So just appreciate what you have then. As long as you're trying your best, that's what matters.
Danielle, well, that kind of broke my heart because I wasn't even thinking about my body. But yes, I do wish that I had those 15, 16-year-old abs back. That was a really nice time in my life. But I do that mentally. So I have the little Amy inside of me has very, very high expectations of us. And while I'm doing well, I'm not nearly where I expected myself to be at this point. So I constantly have to tell her to calm down, that we're doing okay.
Yeah, I also fall into this a lot. I compare myself, at work with other people and their progress or how fast they're excelling, and I get caught up in it, and I feel like I'm not doing as well. And I think I just have to come to realize that everyone moves at their own pace. Everyone has different things to offer.
And everybody will get to their success at a different time too. Just got to put in the work. Also, Amy, it was just the first thing that came to mind. I'm not saying that my body is the only thing I've looked back at.
Oh no, I was just saying that
It came
I
to
was just saying that I was preparing my answer and I was thinking like, wow, yeah, you always let yourself down because your expectations are too high. And then you started telling your answer and I was like, oh no, my abs. So it just like doubled my comparing.
It's funny because I think of all the three we said, I actually probably struggle with Alex's the most.
With
'Cause
the
it's so
work.
you're right, because like it's constantly like, oh, I wanted to be at this point by, this old, but not everything happens overnight. It takes time.
Well, that brings me to the next downfall, which is doubting. And kind of the thing that I reflected on here is, how often do you doubt yourself, and this idea of imposter syndrome, which I think we've mentioned on here before. If we haven't mentioned it on the podcast, we've definitely talked about it together. I feel like I struggle with this a lot, especially in like the workspace, but in other spaces too. I have the training, I have the education, I have all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I still feel like it's not enough, or that I'm like a fake. And that's limiting, my success and how far I can go, because I'm just getting in the way of myself.
I relate to that so hard, like unbelievably, because sometimes I just feel like the baby in the office. Like I'm too new to it sometimes, even though I've been in it for a few years now. And, so many other people just have so much more knowledge than me that sometimes I feel like, that's where a lot of the doubt comes. I'm like, okay, well, can I ever be that good? But it's like, that's where you have to remind yourself they hired you for a reason. You do have the training. And at some point, those people were exactly in your spot. As crazy it is, you really do have to go along with that saying, fake it until you make it, because I don't know how to say this. I guess it's like if you fake that you're confident, you'll actually start to feel that you're confident in the best way. But don't fake your morals and all that. Actually, you know what I'm saying.
All right, so two things really quick. You guys know I always mention Gary Vee. I haven't been like talking about that or doing any of that stuff lately because I've been so busy with work. But one of the things, like I used to always say fake it till you make it. But then he brought up a really good point as to why you really shouldn't fake it till you make it. Most people talk about that stuff. They talk about like a lot of people are talking about like materialistic goods. They're like, oh, if I dress super nice, dress for the job that you want and things like that. And then also, just pretending that you're super confident, pretending you know what you're doing, and then eventually you will. But if you're pretending that long, then at the end of the day, when it comes time to show who you really are, everyone's gonna see who you really are, and they're like, well, who's this person that I've been dealing with for the last year? And they might not like who you really are because they got so used to your fake persona. So just be yourself the whole time. Ask for help if you need help. Keep working on yourself and be okay with the journey. Embrace the journey instead of pretending you already found your success. But anyways, more importantly,
Amy.
Wow, Amy, just backtrack on everything we just worked on here.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
But more
I was trying to
importantly,
pull the positive light, and I didn't know how to say it again.
Well, everyone has an opinion. Go with whatever opinion you prefer.
I'm just saying that one blew my mind when I heard it because I always was saying fake it till you make it. But when I heard that, I was like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But no, the imposter syndrome is 100% real. I have been feeling that way on a daily basis since I got my like first little lead position, and then now that I have a supervisor position, it's insane. I can't believe that I'm the boss of other people. And I had a big realization like last week. that now it's so much more important for me to maintain my own physical and mental health, because in a way, by leading them, I have to be able to help like maintain their mental health. So if I'm not good, they're not going to be good. And then I am the baby of the office. So I'm just like, how am I in charge? But you're right. It's because I'm qualified. It's because I'm a hard worker. You know, I've done what I need to do. I've earned it and I can do it. But it's like some days I just look around and I'm like, this is what we're doing. It's like I'm playing Sims. Somehow I got the boss. Like,
That sounds more like Crash Bandicoot because you actually have to defeat the boss every level. But
this boss can't be defeated. Ah.
I don't even know where to go from there.
Amy
Amy just
so clearly Amy isn't doubting herself.
Amy is clearly not doubting herself, and she's not faking it till she makes it. So I don't know.
I follow my own path, guys.
And that's okay. Whatever works for you. You just gotta, you know, trailblaze. All right, we're coming on to our next. Consuming and overindulging. You might do this with buying too many clothes or eating too much food or what have you. Anything you all wanted to admit to?
I've got another confession to make.
everything.
I spent
Literally
$20 on Taco Bell today.
$20? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That's why I have leftovers. I knew I'd be hungry after this podcast.
What did you get? You ready for to sit on the toilet all
Do you
night?
want to know my exact order?
Kinda, yeah.
I got don't judge me because I saved half of it, okay, except the chips. So I got 4 soft taco supremes, a cheese roll up, 2 of the tiny bags of chips with cheese, and a large Pepsi with no ice. And I mixed the Pepsi with rum, so it's a 2 for 1.
Why didn't you?
But
get
I still have 2 tacos left, so it's fine.
That's so much food, man. Overindulging much.
How big is the Supreme? Because I remember when Grandma
Oh,
got
they're just regular
box
tacos.
for
It
us.
just has sour cream on it. That's all it means.
So you know,
Someone's
honestly,
not a
I've only been
frequent
to
flyer at
Taco
Taco
Bell like
Bell.
twice, so I don't know how to order there.
What?
You
What
thought
is-
you thought Chipotle gave you problems? Go to Taco Bell, girl.
Taco
I
Bell.
got Mighty Taco here. That's just about the same. So
All right, let's not talk about that.
All right. So how can we turn this into a positive? You know, how can we switch up overindulging or consuming?
Struggling
Amy
with
really
constipation?
treated herself.
Visit your local Taco Bell.
Yeah.
What
It's
did you
positive.
say?
You said, how can we turn this into a positive? Commercial. Struggling with constipation? Visit your local Taco Bell. There you go, girl. It's a positive.
I was gonna go with enjoy with what you have because I feel like
Wow.
I've been wanting to shop a lot, but yeah, go to your local Taco Bell.
No, that's actually a good one, Alex. Yeah. You should always look through what you have. Maybe even do a little fashion show with yourself if it's clothes wise, and like remind yourself, I do got some cute looks. You're fine. You don't need to buy nothing.
Or you could just donate it, make some room, and be like, okay, now I can get it, and then it makes sense.
Nope.
Yes.
She said, look, I gave to charity. I need to treat myself.
Well, yeah, I gave stuff to charity, and I was like, okay, I could use some new work clothes now.
I like the way you think.
Like she's
Especially in a very
she's in
public
the,
job. You gotta change your appearance every once in a while. Like, not
You gotta
your.
fake it till you make it.
I just pictured Danielle like in the closet, like pulling out like one old item, sitting it in a pile, and then adding one thing to her Amazon list, like one for you, one for me.
No. I promise I don't do that. No.
The seventh deadly sin on this episode, fearing. How can we gain control of facing our fears? How is this holding you back in your life? What are you scared of?
Well, I'm afraid of heights, big bodies of water, now food poisoning. I mean, the list goes on. So, I guess the only way to face your fears. So, I guess the only way to get over your fears is to face them. I'm not sure how you do that with food poisoning, but with heights, you can, go really high and hope that you don't pass out. And then, I guess Big bodies of water, I could learn how to swim.
That might help. That might help a little bit.
That might help. I don't know. I think that's the only way to do it. I feel like usually once you realize there's not a whole lot to be scared of. However, I feel like heights are a really valid fear because if you fall, you gone. Then it really is deadly.
Not to get too dark or too deep, I guess, but I am a Pisces. So my biggest fears are disappointing my dad, disappointing myself, and dying alone. So I think if I just work hard, keep it together, and continue to be a nice person, then I'm doing everything I possibly can to make sure none of those things happen. So I think I got me. I got me.
I'm gonna go with judgment of other people and failure. And those are some deep things to contemplate in my life.
Gosh, I am just on a different level than you guys tonight.
Or are we on a different level, Danielle or Alec? Like, I think I don't know where the levels stand here, but we'll see.
So I'm thinking that if you can lean into your fears with curiosity and courage, that you can overcome them. But I don't know, it's always easier said than done. But don't let that fear hold you back.
You know what I think is the biggest thing when it comes to the issues you guys are talking about? Confidence. And that's something that everybody needs to work on in general, including myself. If you find the confidence, then a lot of those other fears will start to fall off. Like Amy, when you say that, when you say you feel scared of dying alone, you just have to gain confidence in yourself that you won't, and you have to believe it.
How do you
Or
gain
the
confidence though?
facts. Good question.
How do you become a confident person?
Asking for a
Get
friend.
comfortable being alone.
Be okay with being alone?
No, she
I
ain't.
I did, and I was like, I mean, I'm comfortable being
Go
alone,
back.
but I know I'm gonna
Go
find somebody someday. Like,
go
I'm not
back to
worried about it.
pre-Dave episodes.
What?
Danielle was not. I said go back to pre-Dave episodes. Danielle was not loving the lonely life.
Yeah,
When
no,
I'm
I
85, I'm not gonna love it.
wanted somebody, but deep down, I always knew I'd find somebody. I didn't. I don't. I don't need somebody to feel complete, but I want somebody in my life because I think I deserve it. You know?
Well, yeah, me too, girl. But right now, you said you knew you'd find somebody. When I'm 85, I don't know that I'm gonna find somebody, especially if I'm already on my deathbed. Like,
Yes.
Tinder better be like close 2 miles. Come over.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
You just gotta believe, girl. You gotta believe. Gotta stop that self-hating, man.
Yeah. You have to manifest what you want. Right, Alex?
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all, to wrap it up, our eighth deadly downfall is hating. Hating on yourself, hating on others, hating on this or that or what
There is
have.
no need.
Man, it's hard though. I feel like even just like we use it in like describing things like I hate cheese, which I don't. I don't know. It just came to my mind. We just like
Also, who hates
we
cheese?
use the
Like,
word
that's
too
just horrible.
much.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't know. I personally don't hate anybody, and I would never go to the lengths that some people do. Jeez, Twitter, social media, all that crap. But anyways,
Some people are so mean.
they are. They're terrible. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? How has this person really impacted your life specifically? But whatever. I don't know. I think you can always be nicer than you can. I think you should be nicer any chance you get. So
I don't remember the quote. I really wish that I was good at quotes because I love them, but I can just never remember them accurately. But there's a quote about basically hating only hurts you. And when I read that, I was like, wow, they knew because that's the truth. I feel like when no matter who you're hating or what you're hating, it's only hurting you because you're the only one that's feeling that negative energy. You're bringing yourself down. So let it go, sweetheart. Life is long. Move on.
let it go. Let it go. Also, can I just say that I really think Taco Bell makes Amy get into her feels?
What?
because she's reaching into the depths of her soul tonight to share these words.
Well, these are like, this is just like, I'm just trying to give some life advice. I don't know how the people are doing. Maybe somebody needs to hear some of these things that I'm laying down. They're picking it up. So just let me live, girl. Let me live.
All right, on that note, now that we have covered all 8, complaining, gossiping, envying, comparing, doubting, consuming, fearing, and hating, which one do you have the most trouble with? And how does it hold you back from finding happiness or success?
Doubting by far. And pretty much like I already said, it's just it holds me back from believing in myself to the point it's hard to describe.
Can I take a run at it? Because I think that what I say may be what you're thinking.
Go for it.
I also picked doubting because the doubt causes fear and the fear holds you back. Dun, dun.
Amy, you said it perfectly.
Dang.
I wish they could see me dance. Okay, Alex, so we said doubting. What about you? Which one hits you the most?
I'm feeling the same way because I was between doubting and fearing. Obviously, the other ones are all terrible, and I do them all because I'm not a perfect person. But the doubting and the fearing are the ones that just really get in the way of like self growth and moving forward in life and just having that overall happiness. That's what really holds me back the most. And I think you said it right. The doubting causes the fear.
Have you ever gone on like a long road trip and, by the time you've been in the car for like 6 hours, you've taken a nap, you've eaten some crappy food, you're probably wearing a hoodie and like sweatpants, and you stop at like a rest area and you're going to go in and you don't care what you look like because you're like, I don't know these people. I feel like we should try to embrace that more in our daily lives. Like, just be yourself, be happy, do what makes you happy, and stop worrying about everything else. Life will go on. Just try to be happy when you go to sleep at night.
I didn't realize going to a rest stop can make you that happy, but yes.
I was gonna say that that definitely doesn't sound like paradise to me, but I know what you're saying.
I find the beauty in the smallest moments.
All right, y'all. Before we wrap up, we're gonna slay that Q&A. And for the first question, what sport are you looking forward to watching in the Olympics?
Ooh, surfing, because it's new, but for some reason, no matter what channel I turn on, I still haven't seen anybody surfing. Also, apparently, there's a tropical storm heading that way, and they're like, yeah, the waves are going to be bigger, but hopefully everyone stays safe.
Amy, just check the Olympic schedule.
So one time something happened, and I'm like, I don't know how to do things, and they're like, you're an adult. Google is your mother now. So thanks, Danielle, because I'm like, where will I find that? But I forgot that Google is my mother. So yes, I'll check the schedule. Good advice.
I love that Google is your mother. All right, Danielle, what sports you into?
Oh man, I'm really looking forward to the swimming races and the gymnastics because I want to see those women take down the house. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and it'd be cool if women's soccer could, win again this year. So fingers crossed.
I am obviously super into fencing. Obviously, that's not
What?
obvious.
I did not expect you to say that.
I've got some of my top favorite sports to watch, and these are not all in the Olympics, but it's fencing, cliff diving, and surfing. Cliff diving's not in the Olympics,
I
but
was like, what? What? She's
I was
just
watching
pretending they're on a cliff.
skateboarding yesterday. I forgot that was included. The one guy from the U.S. was doing really, really well. A lot of people were falling though.
I do want to say, Alex was telling me the other day that she was into fencing. So we watched one of the fencing matches with Lee Kiefer from Kentucky. And she was actually like the first USA athlete to ever win the Olympic fencing gold in individual foil. And it was very exciting. I was so proud of her. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, Alex, I'm ready for fencing. Like, let's do this. Let's go. She made it look super fun and super cool. And she did a great job.
How does one get into fencing?
pick up a sword and start slashing.
No, not, oh my gosh. No, I meant how did you get into watching it? Maybe I
There's
should've-
actually this guy. He lives like over by the lake. His name is Jason Voorhees. He's really good at the slashing part.
It's a serial killer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they don't actually slash, but okay, let's move
Way
on
to
to
make
the
it sound like we didn't actually watch the fencing.
I'm just playing. Let's move on to the next question.
Again, I would recommend if anyone wants to get into fencing, watch the Olympics and then Google it. Because, yeah, Google is your mother. Okay, next question. Texting or calling? What day and age are we in? Which one do you prefer?
Oh, calling. I ain't got time to hold text, 3 pages. I will explain a story to you through calling. It's easier to set things up. I don't have to wait hours for you to respond. Just call me.
That's how you know she's getting old.
Yeah.
It's been 7 minutes and she's like, how long ago did I send that message?
I am surprised how many people are afraid to call someone on the phone.
Honestly, I used to hate when people called me. Like, I would literally look at my phone and be like, oh, why are they calling me? But now that I've been, now that after Corona, I worked remote for so long, and I'm currently working remote again for a couple of months. So I just FaceTime and video message everybody. So now I kind of want to just start calling people. But like most of my friends do not want to talk on the phone. So it's just super awkward. I don't want to be like, can I call you? Because they're like, why? What? Why are you calling me? So I kind of want to secretly talk on the phone, but I can't tell anyone that.
I have kind of always hated talking on the phone since I was a child. So I kind of prefer texting, but I do appreciate calling people now, especially after COVID, because it I'll like talk to someone for like an hour on the phone and I actually enjoy the conversation and I feel happier throughout the conversation and I actually enjoy it. So I'm torn between the two. It depends what the subject matter is and
Texting is boring, Alex, unless you get a new phone. Then I'm all about texting for like a
What?
day, and then I'm like, I don't care. Texting on a new
Oh.
phone is fun. It's like I got new digits. Not really, because you have
Does
the same.
anybody miss having buttons instead of a touchscreen?
the
You know what? I
BlackBerry,
miss having
man,
the
that
phone
was
that like
sick.
flipped up, and then you could like type on the keyboard, like that one. The buttons like
We
that.
had
The
to like
rounded
press
one?
like the
Except like a
one.
normal flip phone. I didn't like that. That took forever to type.
I actually just found my very first cell phone ever. The other day, I was going through a drawer of old stuff, and I found my very first cell phone. It's the Silver Razor. And I'm like, let me find a charger and plug this bad boy in and get my like 14-year-old selfies.
Mine was a phone that should have belonged to a construction worker because it was a Nextel walkie-talkie.
Was it the one with the little like, yeah, the
It was yellow
walkie-talkie?
and black, and my dad would go 10-4,
He'll
and I'm
chirp
like,
you?
oh my gosh, what?
What is it like? He chirped you? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the doot.
Yeah,
But
that's
then everybody
embarrassing.
can hear your conversation. It's like you're talking on a walkie-talkie. I'm like, oh my gosh, dad. Anyways, let's get into this next one. Ladies, what's your favorite meme? I want to know.
So I have two because I always cheat at these questions, but whatever, I'm allowed. So my first one I have to share because it it inspires me, and I currently have it saved as my like lock screen. So it says, "Don't let anyone treat you like free salsa. You are cheese dip, baby." And I just love that because I am cheese dip. And my other one says, "Anybody is allowed to send me $1,400. It doesn't have to just be the government." And I'm down for that.
I don't know if you guys remember the one that was going around. It was like somebody lowering a coffin into the ground, and the
Morbid.
caption was, and I quote, "When I die, I want my group partners from that one class project to do it so they can let me down one last time." Yeah.
Oh, oh no.
Because
That's so
literally
sad.
most of the groups that you were in school, you were either in charge or going along, but there were some people that really sucked.
Yeah, you never wanted those people in your project. You're like, well, I'm doing the whole thing.
I love a good I love a good chemistry meme. Mainly because I was so bad at chemistry, so you had to make, light of it. This one, this is a chemistry cat. It says, "The lab smells like rotten eggs, you say? Sorry to hear about your sulfuring."
Sulfur
Alex,
smells terrible. But that cat's cute.
that's a good one.
Okay, wait. I've got a few here. Okay, this one says, "Me and my social skills. March 2020, it's like Forrest Gump awkwardly sitting on a bench. And then March 2021, it's Tom Hanks in Castaway being insane. I feel like that's definitely accurate.
That is
All right,
so
last one. I'm sorry. All right, so I want to share this one because the Twilight series just came out on Netflix. So for all those Vamp fans out there, this one is like where Edward and Bella are like sitting in this all these flowers, this I don't know, a pasture of flowers. This is Edward and Bernie Sanders with the mask on. Because Bernie's in like every meme now. So yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
share that because always vamping over here.
There's
Moving
one
on.
more that I've been obsessed with this week. I actually sent it to my team on our basically our work Skype, but it's a picture of a snail and then a slug. So it's like, what if slugs are just divorced snails? And it's like, yeah, Sharon took the house, and then the slug just doesn't have a shell. It's so sad.
Because the house is the shell. You get it.
Yeah. I always over-explain jokes, but it's in a podcast and I'm showing pictures.
Before we go, we of course need to leave you with some words to live by. This week they come from Robert Evans. Turning a negative into a positive is an expressway to success.
Join us for new episodes every other week. They will drop Monday so you can start the week off right as we unravel another chapter of Project Grownup. If you or anyone you know would be a good interview for our PG inspiring stories, send us an email at projgrownup@gmail.com. That's PROJ grownup@gmail.com. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and leave us a 5-star review.
Hopefully you found some keys to success in this episode. Cheers to another week of trying to be a grown-up. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers!